Alec Murdaugh, the disgraced lawyer convicted of killing his wife Maggie and son Paul, is starting a new week in prison and staring down 2 life sentences. Here's a look at Murdaugh's latest mugshot taken after he was sentenced on Friday.
Look at that sexy man.
Now, shaving an inmate's head might look strange. It's actually protocol. It's done there to prevent lice. Murdaugh went to a facility where he's going to be evaluated and eventually assigned to a maximum security South Carolina prison. A juror from Alec Murdaugh's trial is talking about the guilty verdict and the evidence that he saw over 6 long weeks. Law and Crime's Anjanette Levy has the story.
During the trial, James was known only as Juror 530. Now in his first television interview following the verdict...
Oh, don't watch. It's going to be that same dude that's been on every other channel. I bet you. Watch.
He is talking about the evidence that...
And good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, by the way. True Crime King back. Hope you're all doing well.
Stood out most to him during that 6-week trial.
I think that it's true that he did.
It is the same juror. What the hell?
Love his family.
James is a 22-year-old construction manager and is about the same age as Paul Murdaugh would be if he were alive today.
I'm telling you, every video that I review, he seems like he shows up.
James said that all of the evidence was important, but one thing stood out: that kennel video.
I think it's a very crucial piece, and I think that it's incredible timing as to when they were able to get it, and I think it's incredible timing on Paul's part.
Yeah, my last video, the 3 jurors went on television. You should watch that. But they kind of all agreed that the video where you can't see Alex, but where, you know, over 20 people told the jury that that was him and that was his voice without a doubt. They said that video basically sealed his fate, right? I mean, he lied. He said he wasn't there, but he was there when they were murdered.
I don't think that anyone would have ever known that he was down there if it wasn't.
And why didn't Alex, you know, ever say, oh, why aren't you guys looking for the real killer or something like that? You know, he never said any of that because he knew he fucking killed him, right?
Wasn't for that video. I think that there's a lot of evidence that points towards Alex, but I feel like that does solidify it.
Also important, Murdaugh's own words about the deaths of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh on the stand.
Mr. Griffin, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime. Ever.
And look, he's trying to force out tears, you know. He's trying to make it seem like he's sad about it. But he's not. I mean, a normal person that actually lost their wife and their son to some random person shooting them, they would be breaking down, right? I mean, there'd be tears flowing, right?
I think that part of the way that he is able to be so good at talking to people is that he's convincing. And I think that whenever he's convincing himself as well. And I think he's able to do that because he often meshes the truth with a lie.
Yeah, he's been doing it for so many years now. Who knows how many years, right? That's what he's used to. He doesn't know anything else anymore, right?
The jurors' initial vote, 9 guilty, 3 not sure. James said the jurors were able to move through questions about evidence quickly because they wrote down questions in the jury room during breaks since they were not allowed to take notes.
Yeah, they came to their conclusion in under 3 hours. That is ridiculously fast, okay? To come to a decision for all 12 of them, unanimous, and under 3 hours. That is ridiculously fast. Again.
James's brother is a Colleton County Sheriff's deputy who actually responded to Moselle the night of the murders. James says that the defense was aware of this fact and approved of him being on the jury. For Law and Crime Daily, I'm Anjanette Levy.
James isn't the only person intimately involved in this trial to speak to the media. You see, one of Murdaugh's own lawyers appeared on News Nation. Jim Griffin worked very closely with Dick Harpootlian, often cross-examining some witnesses, walking others through evidence. He also delivered the closing argument for the defense. Griffin says that the defense plans to appeal the verdict on the grounds that the financial crimes evidence should never have been allowed in. They maintain it was way too prejudicial. During a segment on News Nation, Chris Cuomo asked Griffin, who they thought was behind the killings, if Murdaugh didn't do it.
Certainly, if we had proof of who did it, we would come forward with it. So we did not have any credible evidence of other people who may have committed these murders.
Because nobody else committed the murders. You know, they know that, right? Deep in their hearts, they know Alex did it, but they can't say that because they're getting paid to defend them, and they're, you know, that would be unethical for them to say that while representing them. I mean, they would be kicked off the case immediately, right? And, you know, they're getting famous for this. They're getting paid very well, right? I think it's like $200 an hour or something like that. I mean, they're getting paid very well, and they don't want to be taken off this case, right? So, of course, they're gonna say the right things. I mean, they're gonna do every appeal they can. You know, it's all about the money, honey, right?
And the reason we didn't have it is because the state really didn't look beyond Alec, other than the individuals that were directly involved in the voting act.
Yeah, but the defense, they can look themselves for other people that could have committed the crime, right? They didn't come up with one single other theory, right, to you know, to describe what happened and who else could have possibly killed Maggie and Paul, right? Because there was nobody else. It was just Alex Murdaugh.
Which, you know, frankly, Alec told him that night. I don't believe it was the individuals directly involved in the voting accident. At the time, he thought that it was some deranged person who heard or viewed or was in contact with all this negative chatter about Paul not getting justice because he's a privileged kid, and that he took it upon himself. Whether that is ultimately what occurred or not, I mean, we just didn't have the information to go there.
And I kind of find it hard to believe. I mean, Alex was so rich, had all this money. He didn't have video cameras on his property, or none of his neighbors, going to his driveway, like to his house, like you wouldn't be able to see all the cars going down there. Or I find that hard to believe that nobody had any cameras, or maybe they did. They just didn't need to show them, or I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about why didn't he have any cameras? Because nowadays, most people that aren't rich have cameras around their house, right? Or at least like a Ring doorbell or something. Apparently he didn't have anything. Except for Paul's cell phone video, and that's how he got fucked, right?
We don't have the power of subpoena. We don't have the power of search warrants. We can't subpoena cell phone records. And so we were limited.
All right. I'm joined by my co-host and legal analyst, defense attorney Brian Buckmeyer, former trial attorney Terry Austin. Terry, several jurors, they're speaking out. I feel like there might be a risk, right, that the jury revealing all this, couldn't that help Alec Murdaugh in an appeal?
Absolutely, it can help him in an appeal. You know, there are different grounds for appeal. You talked about one of them, the financial crimes, legal error getting into the case. But jury misconduct is also a large area where you can have an appeal if they are forced to make a decision and it wasn't something they really wanted to do. If they spoke to someone outside the parameters of that trial, and we had something like that happen here, and that juror was dismissed. And, you know, you can also have a juror who is, you know, just not in a position to make that decision. And I think if any of these jurors who come out and say that they were forced or in any way, shape, or form, they looked at outside of the trial, it could be a grounds for appeal.
Well, talking about appeals, Brian, any other avenues that the defense may explore that we haven't thought of yet?
Yeah, Jesse, one thing that kind of sticks out to me that I don't know whether or not it would win is this writing questions in between the breaks. They're not allowed to take notes. To Terry's point, we would have never known that they were taking questions down during the break. For me, you, Terry, I, even the producers write our questions here, and to write a question, you have to...
Oh, I just noticed this. You see this guy in the brown suit? That's the bailiff. That's the guy who took Alex Murdaugh into custody. So maybe he's trying to play like the undercover cop here. But this guy's definitely a bailiff. Because remember during sentencing, he's the one that was shaking his head. Yes, agreeing with the judge's sentence. So I don't know if he's off duty or just trying to be, undercover. Let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, I just noticed that. That's definitely the same guy.
To consider the information in which you're asking the question about. Well, what's another way of saying deliberation? Well, a long form of consideration. So how do you write the questions without considering the facts? And if you're not allowed to consider the facts until the case is given to you, aren't you not following the judge's rules right there? I mean...
And the jury's not allowed to take notes? I know, and is that right? Because I know in a couple of cases that I've covered before, the jury was definitely taking notes and allowed to take notes. So is this an Idaho thing? I mean, I can't look it up right now, but yeah, if anybody knows about that, let me know. Because I know in some cases jurors are definitely allowed to take notes, and he's saying that they aren't. I don't understand that.
That could potentially be a reason for appeal. I've never seen it argued before.
But I'll tell you right now, this is my opinion. Alex Murdaugh is not getting off on an appeal. He's staying in jail for the rest of his life, right? That is my opinion. If you agree with me, please hit the like button. I want to see how many of you agree with me. If you don't, please put in the comments why you think he will get off on appeal.
Well, but it kind of makes sense.
Don't just say he's going to get off. Please put your reason down. Why?
Well, I'll tell you what. So this is still the murder case, right? But still ahead on Law and Crime Daily. What's next for convicted killer Alex Murdaugh? We're digging into other cases that Murdaugh is connected to, and what'll happen now that the disgraced attorney is behind bars.
See, look. Here he is, right here. That's that guy that was just in the suit in the other shot. Taking Murdaugh right into custody after he's sentenced. So I don't know if he was just there, on his off time or what. Eagle-eyed true crime king, they call me.
Coverage on what's next for Alex Murdaugh continues now. The disgraced lawyer may be in prison and likely to stay there, but the murder trial wasn't the only legal trouble he's facing. In this segment, we're going to take a look at where the financial crimes stand, what's next for the lawsuit connected to the boat wreck, and whether the death of Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh's longtime housekeeper, is going to be investigated further.
Yeah, what the heck? Gloria Satterfield, where she just fell down the steps and died, right? That's a little strange to me, as well as the Stephen Smith murder, right? I think there's a good possibility that Buster, his oldest son, is gay and was having a relationship with Stephen Smith, and Stephen was about to reveal it. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about the Gloria Satterfield case in the comments, as well as the Stephen Smith case in the comments. But yeah, there's still half of this video left. That's gonna run long, so I'm gonna cut this into 2 parts if I get enough likes and views on this one. So make sure you hit that like button if you want to see the second part of this. And until next time, guys, True Crime King, out.